Peace everyone, Unmask Art here, and welcome to day 20 of Inktober. We are really getting through all these Inktober pieces, which is really good feeling. Anyways, let me share a few of the drawings that you guys sent me real quick. So let's start off with that. Here is the first one from Scott. He really likes drawing Little Nugget. Here's one from Sebastian. He did one for Graceful. You can see a little nugget crawling right there, really small, but he's there. The next one is from Gihan. Now this is obviously a digital piece, but I wanted to share it because she sent it to me. It's very adorable. Here's Mandy's dancing graceful slugs. Mandy has just been sending the most hilarious drawings this Inktober. Here's Stephanie's octopus with a cloud of ink. I really liked this. Very cool. And here's another one of Stephanie's. I believe this is for today's prompt, Deep. You can see a diver coming down in the water. Here's one from David. I believe this is also for Cloud, the hot air balloon up in the sky. The next one is also from Scotty. You can see Slug Nugget being beamed up into the alien spaceship. And that is it. So yeah, I didn't have very many from yesterday, and I had even less for today. It seems I'm not the only one struggling with Inktober, which is a somewhat comforting feeling, to be honest with you. Hello, Hilda, right? It's not Hildy, it's Hilda, right? I think I'm pronouncing it right now, right? Anne, Wendy, Yas, Brenda, Steve, Chrissy, Anastasia, another Christy and Christy. Real quick, I do have the link to the new Facebook page in the description if you're not already a member. If you're not already a member of the Unmask family, then certainly send your request over there and join the new group. Anyways, so today's prompt, like I mentioned, is Deep, and my initial plan for this was to do a picture of not somebody diving, but somebody being pulled down into the water. And it was going to be a silhouette similar to what I'm doing today. I had to keep it a little simple today. I'll get into the story in a minute, but my initial idea was to do a diver not a diver, but somebody being pulled down into the ocean and then having like a sunken ship scene in the back with, some plants and some fish and all that fun stuff. But I just did not have the time, and I still have it in my head. I might end up creating this in the future because the picture that I have in my mind is pretty clear, and I kind of like it. But I woke up a little late this morning since Anna didn't go to work, and she's in the kitchen making delicious food, and so I figured out this drawing, sketched it on here in like an hour. I had no time whatsoever. So hopefully it turns out pretty good. I like the concept, and instead of doing water, what I ended up going with was actually Alice in Wonderland kind of theme, falling down the rabbit hole. And so that's what I went with for today, and I'm just going to go ahead and start scribbling in the silhouette of the ground, and this is just going to be all black and white, no markers today. As much as you guys liked the drawing from yesterday with the markers, I just didn't have the preparation time for this drawing today. So I'm actually surprised that I'm even starting a few minutes early because, yeah, I was just a bit behind on things. Let's see. Remind about answering the questions. Yes, thank you, Anna. So when you join the Facebook group or when you send in your request to join, there's a few questions that you should be prompt to answer. Please make sure you answer those questions. This is just a way to make sure that the people that are joining the group are going to be good family members and are also familiar with myself and just willing to follow the rules. And it makes it a little bit easier for the mods to know that you're serious when you join the group and you're not just some weird spamming robot that you know what I mean. So just try to answer those questions for us and for the sake of the family. Thank you, Anna, for reminding me that. I think about food a lot. Yeah, well, I am pretty hungry right now, and Anna is making kapusta, and I forget the name of what what she's going to do with it, but she makes this French pastry dough, and then she makes these little pockets and fills it with sauerkraut and then bakes it, and they're quite good. And so that's what I know she's making, and it's making me hungry because I can smell it. And I love sauerkraut. It's like ever since I moved to Poland, I've become obsessed with sauerkraut. I check out a stream of yours from 2016. I think you mean a tutorial or something, because I didn't start streaming until this year. Color pencils and eyes. Do you still have the spoon tip you showed? Oh, do I still do the spoon tip? Yes, absolutely. I do that thing with the spoon and the pencil shavings. Yeah, that's one of my personal favorite techniques. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do it the way that I do it. In fact, I may have invented that technique with the spoon because I came up with it on my own as far as I know, and so yeah. I still use that technique, but I only use it, for very particular things. But one of the ways that I like to use it for eyes in particular, not only just adding unique color flakes to the eyes, but also it's nice for kind of shaving off a piece of white colored pencil and then pressing that into the highlights of the eyes to get those nice bright white highlights. That's another alternative to using the titanium white and touch-up texture if you don't have it, or using a gel pen, since the gel pen will flake off and fall off eventually. Your idea is a monkey in deep thought. Just need to do it. Have to play catch up this week. Yeah. I think a few of you have to play catch up this week as far as your Inktober pieces. You're gonna have to get busy for this weekend, for sure. I had another thought. I was thinking about that famous statue with the man thinking. I forget what it's called. But I was going to do an iteration of that statue, but use Nugget instead. But I just didn't have the time to figure out the way to make a slug look like he's sitting deep in thought. So instead I went with the Alice in Wonderland, kind of falling down the rabbit hole here. Oh, hello, Lee Art. So that was the spoon technique. Was the first thing you saw me do, huh? Interesting, interesting introduction to myself, I suppose. I'm glad to know that you guys really like that technique. I'm definitely a fan of it for sure. Alright, I'm going to start on this side now. I'm going to do just the outer edge. I think I might actually use a little bit of to fill all this in. Since it's so much, I don't want to try filling it in with this pen, so I might grab my bottle of ink. Let's see. Yeah, I have my paintbrushes here, fortunately. I was totally feeling unprepared for today's stream, because right after I stream this, I have to jump over to Patreon and start streaming a tutorial, a colored pencil tutorial. So today is a little hectic. Doesn't help that I slept in like 2 extra hours today either. But it was nice to get some extra sleep. Yeah, the thinker. Wouldn't it be better to work left to right for inking so you don't have to change to smudge your ink while it's drying? Well, with these pens, the ink dries so quickly that I'm not too concerned about what I'm doing right now with this pen. To smudge this pen, I would literally have to like write it and then smudge it immediately. Let's just test it really quick. So here, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so 3 seconds it smudges. I'll let it dry for like 10 seconds now. Yeah, that was like 10 seconds in it. It just barely, teeny tiny bit of smudging, and I'm not working fast enough for anything to smudge. And I'm not laying it down very thick either. So this pen really dries quite quickly. So yeah, smudging. Even what I'm working on right now, if I was to smudge it out a little bit, you know, I could just add a bit of ink over it and make something up, because there's no real precision to my detail in this part of the drawing. I'll be a little more conscious of my hand placement once I start working on the girl here, the lamp, the teddy bear, and the clock. I literally just Googled random images. I was like, lamp, and then I found a lamp, and I was like, yeah, I like that lamp. So I used that lamp, and I was like, teddy bear, and I was like, oh, I like that teddy bear, and I was like, clock, and that's how I added images to my idea. I was in such a rush. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I just started Googling the images of random objects. and started throwing them into this piece one by one just to get something weird, interesting, kind of different. And then last minute, I decided to add the Chassire, I think it's Chassire, I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, the cat. I decided to add him in here, and he's just going to be in the shadows of the black with his eyes kind of popping out, and his creepy smile. I'm lazy this morning, still in bed, no school. It's always nice to have a day of rest. Yeah, this one, I hope this one comes together okay because of my kind of random thought process in creating it. It was almost like I just stumbled upon the idea completely. It was, I think, 11:20 or something like that when I started sketching out this idea, and then I didn't even have it fully sketched onto the page until like 12:30. And I was like, oh my gosh, I still haven't even collected the images for to share, like all of your guys' drawings that you send me. So if I missed one of your drawings that you sent me and I didn't share it at the beginning of the stream, I apologize. I was a tad bit scatterbrained while I was working on this and trying to get set up for the stream, and I just remembered like last minute to do the drawings that you guys sent me. So I had to Photoshop all those and get it set up in the OBS and stuff. So if I forgot yours or I missed it, I apologize. Have I set any goals, things to work on, planned any projects for next year? For next year, so one of the big project that I am planning is the Another Month challenge, and I've already kind of talked about the idea as far as doing a 1 month challenge where you spend the first 10 days drawing out this immensely detailed piece of work. Then you spend the next 10 days kind of planning your colors and maybe inking it, depending on what medium. It doesn't have to be any particular medium. And then you spend the last 10 days of the month coloring everything in or painting it or whatever. And I really I keep thinking more and more about this project, this 1 month project. And it would be another month-long daily stream kind of thing where you guys get to hang out and we just chat. And most likely you guys are probably going to help me add more details into whatever it is I end up creating, because obviously for me, I have to have something planned for this big project. But other than that, I will continue working on more courses. So after this month, I think I'm probably going to spend a bit of time planning my next colored pencil course, which is of course going to be kind of a master class on coloring portraits with colored pencils. So I hope to have another colored pencil course out before the end of the year. That's kind of my plan. I'm not making any promises there. I still need to find a portrait that I think would be a really good picture for that type of class, that type of video series. So I want to get that out. And then next year I am going to put a little bit more energy into making courses. So I want to do another pastel course. I'm going to do, a bit more advanced courses. Now that I have the basics out, I have the intro to pastels, the intro to colored pencils. Now I can just kind of think up larger projects that allow people to go from the introduction to the slightly more advanced colored pencil pieces. Now, obviously, the intro or the colored pencil course, as far as coloring portraits, is not going to be one that a lot of people are going to be able to go to straight from the intro to colored pencil course. But I know a lot of you actually are beyond the intro in your skill and experience with colored pencils. So I think a lot of people would benefit from kind of getting a deeper insight to my planning and preparation for portraits in colored pencils. And so that's what I'm going to try to work on before this year ends. And then, yeah, so that's kind of what I have thought out for next year. I'm a little scattered in exactly what I'm going to do, but creating the courses seem to be my niche. It seems to be where I perform best at, and a lot of you have been so kind to support my courses, even in some cases where the course might not benefit you all that much, in the sense that you already know how to use the mediums and things like that, but you still support it, and so I think I'm just going to focus on that. I probably, depending on the size of the course that I plan in the future, I may even do another Kickstarter, depending on what it is that I need to do for the course. But yeah, it's kind of my plans for next year. I probably... Okay, no, I didn't miss too much. Try to catch up with the chat. I know I was sitting there drawing for a while. Oh, hello, Christine. Good morning. Hello, Beatrice. Am I going to use brush and pencil with the portrait or no? No, most likely not. One of the things I like to do with when I approach the idea of a course, I always try to minimize the supplies necessary to work through the course. I mean, maybe if I was sponsored by Brush and Pencil, then I would make a course to kind of and I would incorporate their products for the sake of hoping to boost their sales or something. I could actually talk to Aliona about that. She might actually be interested in doing something like that. So that's a new idea. But I always try to minimize the supplies, because I'm already going to be charging for the course, and I like to make the courses inexpensive, but I also don't like to throw a bunch of supplies at people and them have to need to get those supplies in order to complete the course. So most likely I won't use the Brush and Pencil products for the portrait anyway. I also won't be using, some new technique, like the technique of using sanded paper and the touch-up texture and or the textured fixative or anything like that for the portrait course. I'll use essentially my technique that I use as far as burnishing the skin and yeah, all the stuff that you kind of see me doing on Patreon essentially is exactly what I'll be doing in the course. But a few things that you miss out on with the Patreon course is that you don't get the planning. Like I haven't explained the planning in as much detail as I'll be able to do when creating the portrait course. You had an idea to do something like that for Inktober, to do a Lord of the Rings picture with each prompt adding to it, like Gollum, or for Filth and Arwen for Graceful. Oh, that would be kind of cool. That's actually a really cool idea. Looking forward to the colored pencil portrait course. Yeah, I look forward to putting it together. Yeah, Wendy, I appreciate your questions because they get me thinking about, a lot of things. And honestly, you guys, like when you ask me a bunch of questions and stuff, it's super beneficial to me as well, because of course it gets me thinking about the future, which is very, very important. And it helps me come up with new ideas. I can bounce my ideas off you guys, and you guys give me plenty of ideas as well, which is also extremely helpful. So yeah, never hesitate to ask me a million questions. I love getting questions. I love getting questions. It's one of my favorite things about live streaming, is that it allows you to just ask me questions and me give you answers off the top of my head on just about anything. Alright, I'm gonna start with the lamp here. Let me zoom in a little bit. I think I can zoom in a bit. There we go. All the courses are a benefit. Once a person downloads, purchases a course, and as skill level improves, they can always go back to it, can't they? Yes, they absolutely can. I like to, so far I've only made courses that, don't require any previous, or at least I try my best to create the past two courses without having to need, any special abilities or anything like that. Try to make it as basic as I can, but also educational regardless of the level that you're at as an artist. And it's actually been quite overwhelming how positively received the courses have been over the past 6 months, and or over the past, what is it, the 10th month. So has it only been 3 months? Wow. It's only been 3 months since I released the intro to pastel course. I can't believe it's only been 3 months. Feels like it's been half a year at least. I've had so many people send me drawings that they've done from the pastel course. I feel like, how is it even possible that they completed them in such a short amount of time? But I love getting the work that people send me that they've completed with the pastel course. for those of you that got the colored pencil course, have you made it through the projects? Have you completed it? Have you not started it yet? Give me your thoughts on the Intro to Colored Pencil course if you got it and watched it, because I know that in comparison to the pastel course, obviously the scale of the projects are significantly different because the medium is so much different to work with, and in a lot of ways colored pencils I find to be a bit more difficult to work with than the pastels are. But I haven't got a whole lot of feedback yet from the colored pencil course, so if you guys have any feedback, please let me know what you think of the course, where you're at, what I may have missed, maybe what you were expecting to have seen me do. Perhaps I missed something. You guys, let me know. Oh, you just now got what the drawing is. A bit confused. Oh yeah, it will make a lot more sense once I fill in these spaces here, because I just want to finish the line art real quick. Have to still go through your colored pencil course and get a video up on that one too. Oh yes, Wendy, I look forward to your review of it. Running out of time in a day now. Yeah, I know the feeling. I haven't done the pencil course yet, waiting to settle into your new place. Yes, well, take your time. Yeah, it seems you guys, it seems everybody's bought it, but seems everybody's bought the course but hasn't played any of the videos yet. Seems to be the general consensus that I'm getting from the chat. Yeah, unlike the pastel course, because I know many of you got the pastel course as well. The colored pencil course focuses specifically on techniques up until the last two projects, whereas in the pastel course, because pastels are so much friendlier to use, in my opinion, I was able to kind of teach everybody the techniques while also creating, a piece worthy of looking at. So yeah, that's the difference between the two courses that I just had to do. There was just no way to introduce colored pencils in the same manner in which I did the pastels. It just would not be possible to appeal to individuals that had literally never used colored pencils before without focusing on technique first. I'm hoping to get the pastels around Christmas. Will the course be available still next year? Yes, absolutely, Christine. The course will always be available on my website. I have the link in the description, and I will always have that link to my website and to the pastel course in the description of each video that I upload. So yeah, feel free to take your time to get the course. It will be there. Don't you worry. I had a few more people this past week also purchase the course, and the colored pencil course has been selling quite well, which is always a comforting feeling. It's always nice to know people are interested and they buy the course. It's hard to draw teeny tiny little fingers without making it look like a skeleton hand. Yeah, blame me for your procrastination. Yeah, I guess if you're constantly watching my live streams, you have little reason to start watching the colored pencil course. Where can I buy the colored pencil course? The link to the colored pencil course is also in the description of the live stream here. That's another link that I always have. It's on my website. Oh, hello, Coffee Cat. Coffee Cat, I was on your website yesterday reading your manga. It's so good. It's so good. If anybody in the chats that is a fan of manga, go to Coffee Cat's website as well, because her artwork is gorgeous, and her comic book her manga book is really shaping up as well. Thank you guys for helping Riss find the pastel course, or the colored pencil course. You're welcome, Coffee Cat. Yeah, Coffee Cat and I should team up to do a manga series of Nugget and his crazy adventures. Coffee Cat, do you use Manga Studio Pro to do your manga pages? Is that the software that you use? Because I used the kind of introduction Manga Studio. I really like it, but I didn't get to use it for very long because I didn't purchase it. I just downloaded the whatever it's called, the trial version, to try it out when I first got my tablet. But I really like the authentic kind of shade, the shading, the cell shading type thingy or whatever it's called, that you do in your manga, and it just looks so professional and well done. And I imagine that some of those textures are inside Manga Studio in some capacity. Elise's essay series? No, I have not. I'm totally oblivious to that. Is Elise? I didn't notice Elise in the live stream today. Is Elise here? Yes, I use Clip Studio Pro, formerly Manga Studio. Yeah, I knew they changed their name or something like that a while ago, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, hello, John. Taking your grandson fishing today. Now that's how to spend a Friday right there. Need to get out for inspiration and ideas for my sketchbook. Well, can't think of any better activity than some fishing with the grandson. Am I still getting paid from YouTube? See, many do not get it anymore. Yes, I still get paid from AdSense on YouTube. Again, it's not very much because I don't get very many views on my channel. I average about 45,000 views a month, which is like $40. So, I last month I think I made like $41 from YouTube, and that's the most I've ever made in a single month on YouTube. So that's why I focus all of my energy on Patreon and making the courses now, because the courses are going to be, not necessarily my primary source of income, but Patreon will always, I think, default as my primary source of income and what I focus on in the future. But the courses have been certainly a blessing for a kind of a tertiary source of income. I actually thought about making a video, but I don't know. I don't feel like I've advanced far enough in my art career, because I haven't even gotten to the point in my art career where I can say, like, this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 25 years, because I still haven't started making that much money doing it. But I think eventually I will probably put together a kind of a video that helps describe my strategy, my personal strategy for you know, developing this as a career. If anybody would be interested in such type of a video. No. Okay, so she's been messaging you. Yeah, I'm interested in her essays. So send them to me, or send me a link or something. Have I looked into Amazon yet? If you haven't, you really need to. Yes, I did look into Amazon. I still don't have my affiliate link set up yet, but I will get on that. When I was getting ready to set up that affiliate link or whatnot, is right around the time that I was still trying to finish up the colored pencil course. So a lot of things were happening all at once, and I didn't quite get finished with setting that link up. But that's going to be something that I certainly get done after Inktober. There's just so much to do after Inktober's done. It's ridiculous. But I appreciate you reminding me, because I may have forgotten. I didn't completely forget, but it was not on my mind at all. So. Teeny tiny little numbers. There we go. That's it for the outline, right? I don't have anything else? Yes, perfect. Yes, make a video about it. Okay. I'll add the link to the comment section of today's stream. Link in our family group. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. You really need to make that a priority. Set a deadline to get it set up. Okay, well maybe I'll just you know, kind of any spare moment that I have. The question that I have maybe you can answer this, maybe you can't. Should I set up the affiliate link for the US Amazon, or is it an affiliate link that I can use cross different? Because I wasn't sure if I should set one up for the US Amazon.com or Amazon.uk. Alright, I need to erase my pencil. And then I will grab my brush and start filling in my silhouettes here. Because actually this piece is essentially completed. Oh, you know what I forgot? I do have another little clock right here that I put. There. Essentially this entire piece is just silhouettes, so all that's left to do is rather uncreative, and it's just filling in all the black ink. I had to keep today's easy because I totally ran out of time since I slept in, but yeah. Hopefully you guys still like the idea that I came up with, or was able to come up with. in that short amount of time. I tried to put as much detail in that I could without completely missing the time that I scheduled the live stream. Alright, now this is where I will work on this side and then work over to the right. It looks like it's going to end badly. Okay, so I won't have to sign up for each country. Well, I think I'll just sign up for the one in the US, and then I'll prioritize getting that affiliate link set up as quickly as possible. Because back to the topic that was briefly brought up as far as being a professional artist. One of the things about having your own business, or trying to be your own independent creator like I am, is that you have to diversify where you make money, and you can never ever think one-dimensionally or even two-dimensionally where you make money. So that's something that I am constantly having to learn through this experience of trying to be my own independent creator, and that is where I can every avenue in which I can make money, I have to exploit the best that I can. So having my own website and selling my own courses was a ginormous accomplishment for me to continue doing this full time. And then also getting paid through YouTube is low on the priority list, which is why I don't really care all that much that I only have 13,000 subscribers in comparison to the millions that other people have, because I have the best subscribers anyway, so you guys already know that. But then Patreon, of course, is a huge benefit for independent creators. That website is just amazing. And of course, everybody's going to be choosing their own different paths as far as being an independent creator. Some people focus on doing commissions, drawing or painting or creating for other people. And I've said it quite a few times that I don't like to do that. I'm not huge on commissions, which is why I only do a few a year. And I charge a crap ton for my commissions so that I scare away the people that don't respect art. And it also, if you're not charging enough for commissions, then it's basically impossible for you to have that as a primary source of income. So yeah, the Amazon affiliate link is just more than ideal for another passive form of income, because you literally just have to get it set up and then of course share the link for people to use. And it's always best to probably start with family members. Just make sure that your family is buying everything from the link. Let's see, what did I miss? If you set up a link, I'll buy all my future purchases from it. Wife gets mad at me and goes on an Amazon spree all the time. Okay, John. Yeah. When I lived in the US, I was an Amazon addict. I would just, anytime I would think of anything that I wanted to buy, I'd be like, ooh, I'm going to Amazon. I would just buy just so much stuff. Like every day the mail carrier was dropping some package off or something like that. I love Amazon. In fact, I love ordering things off the internet. To me, it's still like magic. It's like magic to me because I see something on my computer screen. I'm like, oh, click, buy, click, buy, click, buy, click, buy. And then it just, some random stranger brings it to my house. It's like, yes. I love the feeling. It's a terrible addiction to have, but I love it. Buying stuff off the internet is the greatest thing to happen to humankind. I might be over exaggerating that a bit, but yeah. I regret signing up to Amazon. I got so much stuff the first day, like 10 different items. What all would you be selling on Amazon? Your courses? Oh no, I wouldn't be selling on Amazon. The affiliate link is just a way to get other people to buy other things on Amazon. And then if that person purchases something, then Amazon gives me kind of like an advertiser's fee, where I would get like a portion of whatever the person buys. Amazon would give me like a small fraction of the total amount spent, or something along those lines. I haven't read up on it enough to fully explain what it is, but in a nutshell, that is what it is. A lot of people use Amazon affiliate links. It's just a great passive income for quite a few people. So I know Lisa uses affiliate link, and she said that she makes a couple $100 every month just from Amazon. So she doesn't have to do anything. She just gets paid from them because people purchase through her affiliate link. And of course, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually make purchases through your own affiliate link, and you might get a discount that way. I don't quote me on that, but it sounds reasonable. Yeah, definitely. Buying online does save you money because, I mean, if you take into account not having to travel anywhere, you save money that way. And then, of course, usually you will find the best discounts on whatever, because Amazon sells most of everything without markup. Amazon is able to, because Amazon has their own warehouses, and a lot of the stuff is sold straight out of the Prime warehouses. There's no markup, so you can usually get stuff for a lot cheaper than what you would find in the stores, because they have to mark up prices in order to make a decent profit. I almost never ever go to a physical art store. Sometimes I'm surprised that physical art stores actually exist, because the markup in art stores is notoriously awful. I should get a wish list so people can buy you stuff. Huh. I never thought of that. I kind of like that idea, Coffee Cat. A wish list? Now I'm trying to think of what I want. Oh no, you might have got me in trouble with I'm trying to think of anything that I would want. You know what I still want? What I secretly still want is a set of Copic markers. You know, I have a lovely set of markers that have lasted. Literally, my markers are like 17 years old. They're like 17 years old, and not a single one of them is dried out. I don't know how, and I've used them quite a bit. And not a single one of them has dried out, and they're 17 years old. So, yeah, I don't need markers right now, but secretly, I still would love to have. I would love to own every single Copic marker, like, just because I would love to have that collection. Because Copic markers, as expensive as they are, and I kind of hate them just because they're so expensive. I'm like anti-Copic marker because they're so expensive. Secretly, I would still love to have the full set because they have such beautiful color selection. Buying art supplies online is so easy, but I feel bad because I don't go to my local art store anymore. The people there were always so nice and friendly. Yeah, I can relate a little bit to that. I never really had an art store that I knew people from, and I went there. But I do remember that when I lived in Washington, there was this really small kind of hole-in-the-wall art store. And it was nice. It was a warm environment when I went there. I only went there a couple times because actually the second time that I went there, I learned that they were going out of business, and it was kind of sad because I was like, you know, there's all these Starbucks opening up, and this poor little art store has to suffer and get pushed out of the market because, you know, you still can't buy coffee online. And, you know, it's kind of a little sad, a little depressing, but I have the complete set of Copics, and the things that I had to do to get them because of the shortage was crazy. How much are the markers that you use now? I bought quite many Copics several years back from Germany. The markers that I have now, I think I paid, I don't even remember how much I paid for them. I got them off eBay. Which is the only way that you're able to get the markers that I have, because they don't make them anymore. They stopped making them like a decade ago. And gosh, I'm trying to remember how much I spent. I want to say like 80 or $90, I think, is what I spent for my markers, and I got 144 of them. So a very, very reasonable price. And they work. In some ways, I think that my markers work better than Copics. They're less streaky, for sure. They're less streaky than Copics, 100%. Because I actually had a small set of the gray tones of Copics. I left those in the United States with my sister, but I tested them against one another, and the streakiness of the Copics were a lot worse than the Tria markers that I have. Have you tried those acrylic markers? What are those called? What are those markers called? I know what markers you're talking about. They're kind of like watery-ish, and they blend. They are like constantly able to blend or something along those lines. What are those called? I forget. Those seem really interesting. I would love to try those. Can't remember the name. Oh, you take care, Christine. Thanks for coming to the live stream. Oh, hello, Leontine. Yes, you've definitely missed quite a few of the live streams for sure. But good to see you. I've seen a few of the pictures that you've been drawing on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. It seems you've been working on a few commissions of some adorable little dogs. Yeah, the pigment markers. That's right. That's what it is. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah, I haven't fully checked out the color range of those Winsor & Newton pigment markers, but the way that they work, they seem really interesting. I am only slightly a fan of the way that they blend, though. One thing that I like about the alcohol-based marker as opposed to the pigment kind of watery-based looking ones is I like that the ink dries and that it don't move like after it dries. I kind of like that, and I'm not 100% certain I would like the way those Winsor & Newton ones work, but I certainly am interested in trying them out. I recently found a cheaper brand of alcohol-based markers with brush tip. Really excited. I have a few markers which are unique. They have written on them Zig, an art graphic twin. They have brush tip, and it's a super flexible. They make some amazing gestural marks. Great for leaves. Yeah, I like the brush tips too, for sure. The Tria markers that I have, I absolutely love that it has 3 tips, and it's so surprising that other markers don't incorporate the 3-tip system, because you could literally take you could literally take the Copic markers and just add a second level of a cap and make them and give them 3 tips, because the detail that you'd be able to get, just, it doesn't make sense. Why not add the 3rd tip? It just seems so easy. I love the third tip of the tree marker. Yeah, you've been busy with several bulldog commissions. They take quite some time. Yeah, but they look good. They look good. Keep up the good work. Now, when you do those commissions, I don't notice that you do time lapses of them or anything. Do you usually avoid recording that process and not sharing it, or what? Or is it just too hard because it takes long? I know those colored pencil pieces take a lot longer than the pastel pieces that you usually upload to your channel. Or do you just do those over on Patreon? All right. So we're getting through this pretty quickly. It might make refilling Copics harder. Well, actually, no. I disagree. The 3rd tip wouldn't do anything. Let me show you mine really quick. So the way that you refill Copics, as far as I know, is you take the cap off and then you drip the pigment onto the tip, and it just absorbs up into the marker, as far as I know. Well, you have this broadside tip on the marker that you could drip the ink on, and then you have the regular pointed tip on this side that you just drip the pigment on. So it works just like a regular marker, but you have the 3rd tip, which is this teeny tiny thing that you can't even see because it's such a small detailed tip. And the only way that this tip gets any of the pigment at all is simply because it takes it from the tip of this. So that tip goes in there and it feeds that tip. So this is just a double lid. It's just a double lid. It's so simple. I don't understand why Copic doesn't do it. It's a genius idea. Maybe it's patented or something. I don't know. But Copic needs to step up their marker game, because that 3rd tip seems so brilliant. I don't know why anybody would avoid using it. And like I said, my markers are like 17 years old, and I have no trouble whatsoever with that 3rd tip on any of the markers. So it's just, yeah, saying it would go bad too quickly or whatever is not an excuse. Thinking of getting my old Facebook page going so I can join your group there. Well, you should, Riss. You should. We'd be happy to have you in the family. The only reason I don't film those is because I usually work on them during the nighttime, which makes the lighting quite bad for filming. Plus, they take me ages to make. Yeah, that's what I imagined. That's what I imagined, Leontine. That's why when it's also you know, when you're doing a commission, obviously you want to be able to perform the best work that you can. And for all of my time lapses, I always tape down. I always tape down my pieces, and it does make it really constricting to do certain things when you can't turn the paper. And obviously, if you're flipping the paper all around and stuff while you're working, it makes for terrible time lapses. At least in my opinion, it does, and I think most people would agree with me. So yeah, it's totally understandable. Totally understandable. Actually, you remove the tip when you add the ink, and you can also buy replace tips, the Copic marker. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay, Christine, take care. All right. Let's go ahead and fill in Alice, I guess. Almost done with this one. So if you guys have any more questions, make sure you ask them. The topic of markers is really making my wallet shiver over here, though. The thought of getting new markers kind of yeah, it scares my poor little wallet. I've just never fully been able to commit to buying the Copic markers. And yeah, sometimes I think I may never, because I would want to get one of those sets. I think how many do they hold? I think it's 48 times 3, so 144. So 144 markers, is that what those big cases hold? I think that's how much they hold, but yeah, I would love to have one of those sets. But I've never been able to just shell out like $300, $400 or whatever. I know they're ridiculously expensive. Just never been able to commit to a set. Oh, you should never feel intimidated, Riss. Nobody here wants to be intimidating. You know, being a great artist, is that what you? Yeah, a great artist is totally subjective. I don't know if I'd consider myself a great artist. An artist, yes, but I don't know if I self-describe myself as great. I feel like there's still so much more that I need to learn to even master what I want to do. Because when I first started like really getting into art, because I always drew. I did a little bit of painting. And I would call myself an artist, you know, just because I had that mindset. But I guess I way back in the beginning, I created a goal for myself, and it was what I wanted to create. And what I always wanted to create as an artist was I wanted to take realism and just mash it in with the anime manga style. And that's what I always wanted to do, and in order to create like my own realistic looking manga style. And there's a few people on DeviantArt that I've seen that has really captured almost exactly what I'd love to be able to create. But they do it digitally, and I wouldn't want to do it digitally. I would want to figure out how to do it traditionally. And I'm still working my way to that goal, I feel like. I don't feel like that I have obtained the necessary components yet to really live out my long-term goal from when I was still a kid. Oh, it's only 72 markers? Ew, that is gross. They're like $300 or something ridiculous. Yeah, see, that's why I could never commit. That's such a turnoff. Oh, geez, 72 markers. Yeah, it's just that's right there. Yeah. Now I know why I never committed to Copic markers. That just, geez, so much money for 72 markers. The biggest Copic case costs almost $3,000. Jesus. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, it's just so crazy how expensive they are. It's just so crazy. And the thought of, you know, when I buy like art supplies like pencils or paint or something like that, I always like getting all of it. I prefer to just get it all. Just give it all to me. I want all the colors. And I think this may have come from my past with painting. When I painted as a kid, and I would buy my own paints, I would only ever buy the primary colors plus black and white. And I would mix any color that I ever needed out of the primary colors. I don't care how long it would take. That's the way that I did it. And I think it benefited me in the sense that now my color matching skills are pretty much flawless. I can color match just about anything given the primary colors. I know when I'm seeing too much blue, I know when I'm seeing too much red, that kind of thing. But now, since I'm, independent of having my parents have to buy the stuff or something along those lines, now I just want, every time I want to add a new medium, I just want to buy the full set. And that was the same thing. That was the same exact thing when it came to pastels as well, because I wanted to buy the whole set of the Unison pastels. And the only reason I didn't fully commit to it is because Jackson's Art Supply never had it in stock. They said that on the website, it said that it was awaiting stock, and it even gave a date. And I waited to that date, and then they changed it and they pushed it out like another month or something. And so they never had the full set. And I was totally on board to buying them, but I never did. And I haven't even checked in a long time if they finally did get them in stock. This was like 8 months ago or something ridiculous that I was looking at this. I thought 358 was biggest at 1700. Oh, geez, that is still way too much. 1700. For $1,700, my wife and I could go fly to America and see my family. See, that's I have to draw the line at that. I haven't seen my family in over a year. So I can't even justify spending a 300 on, you know, the 72 set. The only Copic markers I ever bought was just the warm gray tone set of like 12 for like $50 or something stupid. You can get pretty nice sets of the Copic markers on eBay. I know that's probably going to be the best option as far as buying Copics. Because you can usually find them for, you know, 10-15 cents cheaper per marker than the other sets. I know I broke this down in a video a long time ago. I broke down the price of Copics, the best way to buy them and whatnot. You feel my pain? Always wanted to have a full set of everything. Yeah. All totaled up, I got the entire set for around $1,200. Wow. Yeah, you'd have to do quite a bit of shopping around, but yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. The other thing about Copics is that they fade. They fade like kind of fast in comparison to all other mediums. And that's why I think I'm going to like working with colored ink once I get a bit better practice with it, and of course work in my better paper or on my better paper. If I can find the perfect paper for colored inks, I might never even consider getting Copic markers. This drawing should remind you of Alice in Wonderland, Anna, because it's Alice in Wonderland falling down the rabbit hole. You might have missed me mention that I decided to do Alice in Wonderland falling down the rabbit hole at the beginning of the live stream, but I also referred to her as Alice like a few minutes ago. Wouldn't watercolor be best for inks? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because watercolor paper feathers. So and what I mean by feathering is when you draw a line, the ink starts to creep past where you touch a little bit. So. Oh, okay, Anna, you're forgiven. Gihan, he, not she. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I refer to you as a her? I'm sorry. I think the picture, I don't know, the picture on Facebook, I think, was of a girl. Maybe that's what was confusing. Okay, John, you take care. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. If I stop being poor, I'll buy the Winsor & Newton markers. They are light fast. Yes, that is one thing that that is very appealing about those markers. Their light fast quality. But ink is also light fast, which is why, well, good inks are light fast, which is why I think they might be a better option to get better at them. Not to mention you have your own variety of application when it comes to the brushed on inks, because you can use all the different types of brushes. So it's basically like making your own markers, and you can have any brush tip that you want, whether you use a dip pen or some weird shaped brush. Like I used the fan brush on Inktober day 1, and that worked out really, really well to create that grass texture. Okay, just joined the Facebook group. If you see a request from a weird Italian name, that's me. Okay, Riss. What I would want to remind people, when you ask to join the family group, please answer the questions. That way we know you are a real family member and not some random. Yes. You got a bunch of Liquitex inks half price. That's cool. Half price is always good. What are they? I forget the... Oh, Dollar Rowney. That's the colored inks that I got. And the art store here in Poland that I go to get some supplies occasionally, they have the Koh-I-Noor inks, which is where I got this black from. And the only thing I don't like about the Koh-I-Noor inks is that the tip of the lid has this tube, and you have to physically touch. You have to physically touch the, whatever it is you want to drip the ink into. It doesn't drip down. So it's kind of annoying and stupid. So if I get the Koh-I-Noor inks, I need to get a couple more eyedroppers things so that I can take the ink out. This over here is not as dark as I'd like it to be. Alright, we're really close to the end here. So I will quickly remind everybody that if you're interested in joining the Unmask family on Facebook, I do have the link in the description. So feel free to send your request to join the group, and just like Anna mentioned in the chat, make sure you answer the questions so that we know you're a real, authentic family member and not some crazy Facebook psycho stalker weirdo that just wants to spam us with posts of their artwork with zero descriptions and not asking for help. Because I do want to reiterate that aside from just being a friendly group of artists and whatnot, to get to know each other and, you know, just be a family. It's also the purpose of the group is also to give people the opportunity to ask questions and learn. So that's the real focus of the group: inspire people, learn. So make sure that when you're thinking about posting a picture or something, make sure you understand that you're probably going to get criticized for the sake of becoming a better artist. And make sure you ask questions so that people know what you're seeking for. All right. That is it. Let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see the full thing. Yep. That is the full picture there. Like I said, I was going to keep it simple today just because I was running out of time before the live stream started. Hello, Bridget. Yes, indeed. What is constructive criticism? Yes, that is one of the questions. Constructive criticism is, well, if you want my answer to what constructive criticism is, it is more than just pointing out your perceived flaws and giving direction for the individual to move forward for the sake of progression. So that's probably a fairly convoluted answer, maybe a bit wordy, but that's the most succinctly way that I could put it. It's more than just it's not putting somebody down for their lack of skill. It's instead encouraging progression. So all right, everyone. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. I have how much time? So I have about 2 hours before I have to prepare for another live stream over on Patreon. So if you guys support me on Patreon, come over and join me for another stream. I'm going to be working on this portrait right here. So you can see that we've got the background done, we got the flowers done. Last week I did the eyes, and today I'm going to be doing the face. So if you want to learn how to do portraits, or at least learn how I do portraits, come join me over on Patreon, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Peace.